Hello, today I'm going to be talking about brands for my international business project. So starting off, I'm just going to give a few basic facts about France's country. So here's the country overview. The capital of France is going to be Paris. It is 4,406 miles away from the United States, and there are many natural resources in France, which you can see right there. They are all very, very diggable kind of things. You find them in the earth. Majority of them you do find in the earth or in water and things like that. But yeah, France has a lot of natural resources that are used for trading and business and all the things like that. So going to France's customs, just to get a little background about some things that France is different from the United States is their social customs. So you never take wine to a dinner party, which is definitely different than the United States, because most of the times you either bring like a drink or an appetizer or something like that, but lots of people do bring wine to dinner parties, so definitely a little bit different. The next thing is try to arrive at least 15 to 20 minutes late, which is, again, very different from the United States. Here you either want to arrive early or on time, and it's not really great to be late. And then they also have the mwah, mwah, the kiss kiss, when you greet someone, and you always are supposed to say hello and goodbye, which here, same thing. It's always appropriate to say hello and goodbye. And then you have to ask for ice, as well as you have to downplay a compliment. So that would be like someone gives you a compliment, you're like, oh, no, that's not true, or something like that. While here you're like, oh, thank you, that's so sweet, or something like that. Next, the dining customs, always take something, which is definitely weird, because here if you take away something, like that's just considered like either stealing, or if you go to like a grad party and you take food for your house, like something like that. It's just not really super acceptable. Also, make an effort with your outfit. This is definitely not 100% true here in the United States. Here, if you go to a restaurant, you can go to either a fancy restaurant and dress up, but you also can go to normal restaurants and not have to make an effort at all. Always use both your fork and a knife. I feel like here lots of hands are used to eat food, so again, different. And you can't eat until your host says bon appetit, which is, again, not what we have here. Next, I'm going to compare some of the business aspects of the United States versus France. Starting off with the US, Americans open up more to their co-workers, so they share more about their personal lives, as well as they have shorter lunch breaks than in France, which I can attest is true. I work a job, and in a whole 8-hour shifts, I only get about 15 minutes for lunch, while in France, they get more like an hour for their job for lunch. So definitely a big difference. And most of the time, we can't even take our lunch break. Or it's very quick and not actually the whole 15 minutes. Next, American workers define themselves by their careers / what they do. If you meet someone, you're like, hi, welcome, I am a blank. Or it's very common to bring up that, oh, I'm a teacher, or, oh, I am a doctor. It's very common to be like, oh, this is what I do. And this is my life kind of thing. As well as in the US, there's not really a big thing about conflict. We don't like conflict when it comes to confrontation and things like that, like confronting your coworkers. It's kind of hard to do that. Again, I know from my experience at my job, if someone's doing something wrong, and I've been there longer and should tell them what to do, I get too scared, so I don't. So that's just an example. Next, we have some things that go down in France. So France has a longer lunch break. They, as I said earlier, they have about an hour, and they do like confrontation and debate. They think they see both of those as healthy in a work environment, which is very weird. They also get more vacation time and are inclined to give negative feedback. I feel like in the United States, we are very people who like to give positive feedback, or at least, sugarcoat it. But in France, they're just like, here's the bad news and here's negative stuff. So yes. Next is about both drink coffee around their work or things like that in general, but US, I feel like, drinks it more. If you're getting ready for the day at work and it's a long day ahead of you, you use it to feel alert and rejuvenate, or kind of rejuvenate. I mean, sleep would help better, but in the sense of getting more energy. However, France used for taste. Finally, the final thoughts of France's business practice. French people emphasize on courtesy and formality, as well as being good with debating skills, and in France, they make sure to utilize a brisk, light handshake. So my final thoughts of France business practices are they're definitely very, very different than the United States. I feel like the United States were more laid back, more chill, while France is more uptight and upright. However, lots of people from the US do go to visit France or go somewhere outside of the country to, do work related things. And so definitely going to France would be a very big difference because it is a lot more formal. And not saying that jobs in the United States are not formal, because there most definitely are some jobs that are very formal. But for example, my job and lots of kids my age jobs, as well as some other jobs, are not